The Fed might have just opened up the floodgates to Bitcoin. They just posted something really interesting, all tied together with what Trump is saying and causing the market to get pretty excited, I'd say, over the last few days. We also have Ethereum breaking out, going over $4,000. We'll talk about that as well, along with a stock that's very closely related to Ethereum, the upside of Ethereum, and it is up 28% today. It's Tom Lee's company. We'll be talking about this as well and what Tom Lee suggests for a crypto portfolio. Should you be 1 to 2% or should you go heavier? Let's talk about all this. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you want to trade crypto, check out the link underneath the video to BYDIF. You can sign up just in a few minutes because they don't KYC. And for a few more hours, you can get up to $10,000 worth of XRP just for trading on the platform. So sign up, deposit, start trading right now so that way you can get access to this free money because the trading window, the countdown is closing. Although we continue to run these. These aren't just for new people like so many platforms run. This is for anyone that's ever signed up under my link. You can get this money. So we constantly run these and you constantly get rewarded for trading cryptocurrency. So check that out underneath the video. Also check out my Telegram too. I post exclusive videos and early access to videos there. And let's get started. Ethereum breaking out here today over 4,000. A very quick move. It's crazy to think we were just at $1,400 Ethereum a few months ago, back in April. We were down at 3,300 just a few days ago. And now we're pushing over 4,000, breaking above the prior resistance we saw this morning, a rejection right at 4,000, but now moving all the way up to $4,067. Of course, we have seen a lot of resistance right around this level, 4 different times maybe, getting rejected right between 3,900 and 4,100. So fifth time's the charm. Let's see a break over 4,100, and that will be extremely bullish. I gave you some different things to look at this morning. Obviously, Bitcoin still sitting in its channel here. We are trying to break out over 118,000. When you just show these lower highs, we would need to break over about 118,000, maybe 118.5 thousand to break above this line. And don't be surprised if we come back down and then flip it into support. That would be extremely bullish in my mind. The whole market's up today. The Nasdaq's up 1%. The S&P 500 very close to all-time highs, up 0.81%. Part of this could just be from all the fantastic earnings. Last week, the market was bearish, and I said, this is dumb. Right? We were falling down on Bitcoin to 112,000. The S&P 500 was falling down, yet we had some of the best earnings I've ever seen. 82 to 83% of S&P 500 companies are beating expectations. This is unprecedented. This is much better than we could have ever expected. And Bitcoin is doing fairly well this week too, with $116,400 Bitcoin. Keep in mind, this is after just 1 or 2 days of inflows from the ETFs. We've seen weeks of outflows. However, Trump continues to push for Bitcoin. The family of the U.S. president has bought $2 billion of Bitcoin, over $100,000 per Bitcoin, demanded the Federal Reserve lower interest rates, said they think Bitcoin is going to 1 million, sit on the board of Bitcoin Treasury companies, said they want America to buy Bitcoin, all in public. This is not behind closed doors. They're being obvious about this. They're saying to buy. This is fascinating too. I didn't even realize this was happening until today. The Fed suggested revaluing gold to fund a strategic Bitcoin reserve. One day later, Trump imposed tariffs on gold, causing a price spike. Did he just pump gold to finance Bitcoin buys without expanding the budget? That's fascinating. Now, to be clear, I don't think the Fed's necessarily suggesting revaluing gold. What they actually posted here is, in the U.S., the idea has come up in the context of helping to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve or a sovereign wealth fund, and the use of revaluation proceeds was proposed in recent legislation by Senator Lummis. So they're more bring attention to what Senator Lummis has done, which is explain that they could sell gold to go fund Bitcoin purchases, which has also been talked about by the head of the crypto working group as well. And they've said that they want to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. This is fascinating too. David Sachs bringing attention to the hypocrisy of banks. He says, why are all top banks still prohibiting or restricting access to Bitcoin ETFs on their wealth management platforms? Is this the last vestige of debanking? This is one day after the executive order commanding banks to stop debanking crypto companies and crypto individuals, people investing into crypto. This is fascinating. One day after that, he's calling attention to all the different investment funds that won't allow exposure. You can see Vanguard has exposure prohibited. Edward Jones, Raymond James, some of the largest companies in the world with the most AUM completely prohibiting exposure to crypto assets. And then there are exposure restrictions, and that's on most of the banks. This is $30 trillion of restricted capital. A 5% allocation would be $1.56 trillion. That's crazy. I think this is going to put some more pressure on these banks to flip the switch. And we've talked about this before. This is unfortunate that this is the case. I know when Vanguard said that they weren't going to allow people to buy their Bitcoin ETFs, a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a lot of the crypto Twitter people left Vanguard. I could see a lot of these banks though flipping the switch, and even the most bullish like Fidelity. I've talked to them. They still can't approach clients about crypto exposure, at least as of a month or two ago. They said that if someone comes to them, they can suggest it, but they can't go out and tell people about it or try to sell them on crypto exposure. Treasury Secretary Bessent says the United States is going big on Bitcoin and crypto. Let me play this for you.
Going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. Past administration starved and almost made extinct a lot of these companies and pushed it offshore. So what we want to do is apply the highest U.S. regulatory and AML standards to digital assets, especially.
So they are going big on crypto and Bitcoin. Obviously, there's so many people in the government, high ups now, that are pushing for Bitcoin and crypto adoption. It's all very bullish, so bullish that some people are saying we'll never see another Bitcoin cycle. We're just going to go steadily upwards. And, these are kind of famous last words. At least that's how people have viewed it in the past. Whenever people start talking about there never being another bear market, that's when the bear market hits. I think the case for this is better than ever, though. At least that the bear market will hit differently because we have quantitative easing coming. The economy is doing really well. Companies are still doing well. So it's hard to imagine that the stock market's going to fall down in the next year or two significantly. Of course, there can be dips and big pullbacks based on different stuff happening in politics, but the economy is very strong, and we can actually ease significantly and print a lot more money. So you would think that with the stock market doing well, Bitcoin would do well too, because people will be going more risk on, and Wall Street still thinks of Bitcoin as going more risk on. So I could see us going longer than 4 years. I know famous last words, but still. We actually just saw Michael Saylor talk about Bitcoin. He gave a little update. I believe he talks about gold in here and the new tariffs on gold as well. I'll spare you because a lot of it is very similar to what he said in the past. But obviously, we know that Bitcoin is better than gold, right? It's much easier to move. It's actually finite. And the companies that buy the most will do really well. Speaking about companies that are buying the most of things, we have BMNR going up 29%. This is Tom Lee's Ethereum Treasury company going up 27% today. Most likely because Ethereum's going up, and a lot of people still can't buy maybe the Ethereum ETFs, but they can buy something like BMNR. Like hedge funds maybe have certain restrictions, or different companies have different restrictions on the securities that they can buy, or the ETFs that they can buy, etc. So Ethereum at a pretty key resistance. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different weeks that we've hit this level and gone rejected. If we break out above 4,100, if we get up to 4,150 or 4,200, don't be surprised to see a bigger move up just on the momentum. Now, if we break above this level, don't be surprised if we see significant short liquidations and a quick move up. I mean, that's what we saw earlier today. That's what we've seen this week. I mean, we've gone from 3,500 up to 4,000. So lots of shorts getting liquidated recently. Bitcoin still sitting strong right in that 116.4 range. So nothing to complain about there. Tom Lee actually just explained how much people should have in crypto. Let me actually tell you what he says, because it's very quiet for some reason. He said back in 2017, they suggested 1 to 2% in crypto, and this is when Bitcoin was around $1,000. So that's turned out really well. Now they're suggesting 5 to 10% for investors. And if someone's younger and has a lot of time on their side, they suggest 20% or more. Quite aggressive in traditional terms, but for crypto investors, 20% or more of their net worth might not be too aggressive. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. We are looking quite good though. Ethereum pushing up. That's nice to see for all the Ethereum investors, approaching the all-time high. That's great. Also, if you want to trade crypto, you can actually trade Ethereum with Ethereum over on BYDIF. Big trading bonuses right now too. Check that out underneath the video. Thank you so much. I'll see you all soon.